Ramsey County Commission of New York, stand for the allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes. There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Minutes approved. To approve the agenda, are there any additions we need to add to this? Kevin, you said you had one thing to add.
One thing to add to mine,
Okay, which was?
I need to buy blades for cutting edges for our payloader.
That'd be under your motion to approve the agenda.
Motion and a second on the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Visitors and delegations. You have 5 minutes to speak. Would you like to speak this evening?
I would.
Okay.
Excuse me.
No fine.
My name is Ron Heisler. I got a copy of the Tuesday, July 21st, 2015 meeting, and it seems to have 2 paragraphs missing. Is there a reason for that? When I go on YouTube to watch the film, it's completely wiped off, and it's the only one that's gone. I was just wondering if there's a reason for that.
What was the date on that, Ron?
Pardon me?
What was the date on that?
Tuesday, July 21st, 2015.
Look, I guess, on that, or Andy?
It's just missing on YouTube, it's just not there.
Pardon me?
It's not on YouTube, it's just completely missing.
I couldn't find it anyplace.
We'll have to do some investigating on that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
We'll have to do a little investigating on that. If Steve was here, we could maybe ask him, but he's not here this evening.
There he is, right here.
Okay.
He's right there.
It's on there, but the stuff's missing from the text, right?
What?
I think you were saying that it's recorded, but there's stuff missing from the text.
It's not recorded, the recording is gone
Well, the
too.
recording's gone.
There's no recording of the meeting or just the?
Well, no, the whole recording of the meeting is gone. And that's the only one that I could find that was missing. And now it looks to me like there's some paragraphs missing on what was typed up.
Okay.
Anyway, I think it had to do with someone out at the island out there asking permission to use that lot for entrance into his
Yep.
garage. I guess if anybody can recall, was he given permission?
I believe he was.
I think,
What's that?
Myrna thought he was
Was
given permission to,
He was?
yes.
Okay, so anybody can use it then?
I don't remember the exact, do you remember the specifications on what that was?
Driving across to
Driving.
get to his,
Just driving across.
yeah, that's what I understand.
Yeah, he wanted to drive across the property to get to his property, to get to his garage.
That's where.
Yeah, I believe that's the thing, so he got permission to use it, is
Yes.
what you're saying?
Yes.
So then, what do you have to do to get permission to use it?
Come in front of the commission.
Okay, why wasn't the discussion in here? I guess that's what I'm looking for.
That I can't answer.
And it's gone off the tape, so no one can ever find it.
Well, we can go back and look on our records and see if it's on there. I mean, I vaguely remember the conversation, but that was several months ago, 2 months ago.
It was not taped. I wasn't here, and there was an emergency in the auditor's office, so they were on the,
So what are you saying?
It wasn't recorded.
it wasn't recorded at all.
Meeting?
Right, well, like it was tried, but the third auditor
Hold on.
thought she was
So
recording,
it was never recorded?
but it wasn't.
Well, how would you ever
They're
find out
talking-
what the paragraphs are missing here? Because it seems like it had to have been a discussion, because it was a report brought in.
We
wasn't
can-
Sandy Shagley here, and where was that?
No,
Prior
that
to
was
that,
the
or
second
after that?
I was representing Sammy that meeting, so she couldn't make that meeting.
Okay. And I believe there was some discussion on that. And I don't think it was a recommendation of the state to allow that to happen. But
Well, it says on here something about that it was voted not to put up no trespassing signs.
The motion, basically, the motion said not to, what's it say? Read it out loud.
Yeah, that would help.
I have it right here too, I just pulled it up. Would you like me to say it? Under the minutes that we approved on 8/4 for 7/21, it says, Kevin Fieldson, County Highway Superintendent, reported for Sandy Shibley, North Central Planning about a FEMA buyout and allowing that property owner access to his garage using county-owned property. Motion was made by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Heisler to just leave the issue alone and not post no trespassing signs. Roll call was taken. Following members voted aye. Commissioners Brown, Heisler, Olson. Those voting nay. Lightfon and Mertens, motion carried. That's what we have on it.
So he got permission to use it? Doesn't really say in
Under that reading, I would read it to say we just left it alone. In other words, we didn't give him the permission, we didn't say he couldn't.
Okay, so
That was the discussion too also.
so if he's using it, it's fine with everybody?
Well, I guess I can't speak for the other commissioners on that.
I mean, he's already got his dock sitting in the middle, and he had a no trespassing sign on there, but I see that's gone. He's already planted trees on the west side of it. And as far as access to his garage, he's got a full overhead door to that road there, I forget what the name of it is, Lake Shore Drive.
to get to it. I voted against it.
What's that?
I voted against it.
Yeah, right.
I think the discussion that night was neither to allow it or disallow it, basically is what we were trying to say. We didn't want to put it, but, you know,
I don't think we were opening it up for big use. I think he was just like, you know, if he drives over it, you know, are we okay with that? And we were okay with that. But if he's doing other things, I mean, maybe we need to get out there and check into it.
Where were the trees planted then, Ron?
They planted on that lot that the county owns, on the west side down from my fence down to the lake.
And when were they planted, do you know?
They were planted last, probably in the fall of the year, August.
This last fall. And that would have been after the July meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's been more activity there than what the county commission approved.
Exactly. And he'll never quit.
I did talk to him about the dock. The dock was sitting right in the middle of the lot, and I told him you gotta get that out of there. He told me he would. That's gone now?
No, it's still there.
Is that Kevin talking then?
Yes.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to look into this, that's all there's to it. All we wanted was, I assumed, was to drive across the corner of the property to the garage. Now, what a corner of the property is, I don't know if that's 10 feet in or 20, or,
Yeah.
that's what I assumed it was. But if he's planted trees and using the dock, I guess we're gonna have to revisit this, so.
Okay.
I gotta get more familiar with the property, I guess, so I understand what's going on.
Yeah, I was under the impression that he was gonna maybe, you know, back a boat around and was gonna end up, you know, moving onto that piece of property and back. I didn't expect that he was gonna put a dock on it and plant trees and essentially use it.
Well, he's controlling that. I mean, that's,
And we,
Steve, would you?
when he got done tearing the house down and leveled it off, I went over there and raked it down, landscaped it. Right away, he told me to stay off it.
Probably hard to pull up, or? Get it up on the
Who are you talking about?
Willard.
Willard?
What's that?
Willard?
Yeah, Dan Willard.
we'll have to revisit it.
Up over the dike out on the island. On the east side, real big. Yeah,
From here.
I think they
South
did
end.
plant trees or.
Up where your arrow, up Up.
It's still, you
Keep
know,
going.
Yeah, keep going. No,
Oh,
no,
well,
no.
right there.
Right
Or that right there.
There?
Yep.
About 10 over there. Yeah, right over there.
Oh,
Hey, this is kind of at the garage.
kind of an old
Right
picture.
over there.
It is an old
Right where
picture.
the arrow is?
It's an old picture.
This house is completely
the
gone,
gone-
it's
that's
all
the-
grass.
that's the lot.
This is all gone, it's all, well, whatever's growing there, I don't know if it's grass, but, so he comes off this road and into here.
Well, apparently he's using the whole property now.
He's got his dock sitting about right there.
Planted trees on the west side.
Oh, next to the water.
Well, Ron can
No,
tell us
the
where the
trees-
trees are.
They run from about, I suppose, here to here, they're just little tiny,
Yeah, there they go.
but they're there.
And you can see on the south side, he's got room to go into that garage from the south side there. And that was the discussion, is that he said he didn't have, he does, he's got a garage door right there, where it goes. Zooming in a little bit. He doesn't need to go in that other driveway, he can go in that other driveway, that's all.
Yeah, there's another
So
door.
where his car is now,
See
that's
there,
his.
yeah, there,
That
right-
correct?
Must-
Right here's the lot line.
Right there?
There's the lot line.
So we own this, and he owns this. And now he's just, this used to be, that's grass or weeds or whatever too now, so, but he just drives us across there.
I think he got a variance to put the garage there, but it's supposed to be 8 feet over from the property line on the side, but he got a variance in front to, to build a garage in that location. I wasn't around there when that happened.
That's a house then.
There used to be a house there.
That's not there.
That was the buyout, and that was his house.
That's where the buyout was.
And
This is all
he sold that piece of
vegetation.
property, and the property with the garage on it right next door to him, he retained.
Kevin, would you point to the side of where the trees are from the fence down to the lake?
This side of the
He's got
garage.
access right
The trees, I see.
Yeah, right in there, he kind of,
Clear down the lake.
evergreens
there.
down to
There's a
the
wall in
lake.
there, so he says, I can't get into the north end because there's a wall. He just opens the wall, so you do.
And that's the reason why driving said we were gonna leave it alone. So he could get in through his garage door. There was never any mention of tree planting or any other use of the lot in the discussion,
We put the-
to my, the way I remember it.
Well, we'll have to revisit it and look it over and find out and vote on this and make a decision. I guess in concrete, we were just trying to let it go and be nice, but obviously that's not working.
It's okay with me. But you heard the saying, you give a guy an inch, he takes a foot in
Absolutely.
the yard, and that's, my best thing in life is to come up here and not talk to him. But he always comes over and says, I can't do this. One time he told me I couldn't come in there anymore because I didn't own a house in there. It's just one thing after another.
I don't think the trees are really bothering anything, or.
Well, no, but I mean,
There.
if you let him do that, you got $100, he's gonna be doing something else.
I hear your point.
Are the lot lines marked?
What's in there?
There's a fence.
They weren't until he took the stake out.
Oh, there was a stake at one point in time.
And he moved them over because he didn't have enough
That's
room.
not
And
why.
the trees are on the other side of the stake, not on the buyout
He
side.
came in and has to look up to that sewer on that.
That looks like something we need to go and get the stakes and get the property lines and put them back where they belong.
If I recall, our discussion centered around liability issues, the legality of it, what we could allow under the FEMA buyout.
And he's cut the grass too.
I think we should revisit it, Ron.
Pardon me?
We'll revisit this.
Okay.
And
Just
Put it on the next
my
Put it
request
on
for
the agenda for the next meeting.
Yep,
Bill's gone out and looked at it before then.
it's on there.
an easement was turned,
And if you decide when you come in, or send a letter to the individual, that's what we'll have to do. Or the floodplain administrator, I don't know, whoever takes care of the FEMA stuff.
Okay, Ron, go ahead.
Okay, my easement request was turned down, so I'm gonna have to, I don't have to, but I gotta either move my camper or I gotta go on that lot to dig my sewer line in. Anything that's disturbed, I'll black dirt back in and seed it and put it back the way it was. Can I take care of that now here, or do I have to write a request?
I think we better have it right here.
You're gonna have
Written
Okay.
request, I would
Okay,
think.
that's fine.
We denied that at the last meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we did deny it at the last meeting,
We did deny the last request.
because you can come right out to the road there and hook on there instead of crossing that piece of property. Wasn't that what we decided?
Well, that's, yeah.
Well, there's another way I can do it. It
Yeah.
was just cheaper for me to
Yep.
go and tie onto that line that's already there, and all I gotta do is dig 20 feet.
yeah.
Other way, I gotta dig 80 plus, well, about 85. And then I gotta pay for the two ends that hooked up. Which makes a lot of common sense to me. And I called, I called the lady down in Denver, Fitzpatrick. She said there's no reason why whoever's name is on the title of that lot can't issue you easement. Now, I don't know how much pull she's got or what she does. Last time I dealt with this situation, she was a lady I dealt with.
You know, that's not what we got out of it though, Ron, that's got very, very restricted, access, requirements and stuff like that, there can't be much going on there. Including, I don't think they even want the water and the sewer line to even be available to anybody.
Yeah, this would just be sewer.
Yeah, so, I think Sandy will come in and, clarify all of that.
Well, I got the copy from Sandy and I showed it to an attorney and he said there's nothing on here that says you can't do utilities with an easement. But you can't build unless it's a park or blah, 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 the list goes on.
We'd have to have Lonnie review it as
There
well.
was a letter here sent to Sandy Shively from Justin Messner, State Hazard Mitigation Officer with the North Dakota Department of Emergency Services. After their discussion, apparently they brought it up. This mitigation officer contacted FEMA concerning the question about a homeowner tapping into the terminated utilities located on the Willett property rather than tying into the utility corridor on the street. Both the North Dakota Department of Disaster Emergency Services and FEMA agree that it is not a permissible action based upon the information found within the Unified Hazard Mitigation Assistance Guidance Program, which provides the rules and regulations for the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, which was used to acquire and demolish the Willett property. According to those HMA guidance, all properties acquired through the HMPG for open space purposes must be restored to a pre-construction state, deed restricted in perpetuity to remain as open space, and all abandoned utilities must be terminated at least 2 feet below the finished grade of the site. So the
Okay,
state mitigation officer contacted FEMA and both said that it was not permissible.
Okay.
Are you taking care of those
say,
utilities, Kevin?
Oh, yes, that was done. Sandy did that.
Okay.
I was just trying to save some money, so I'll get that letter to you on that, using that for
Yep.
a week or so, and then I'll put it back. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Ron?
Does anybody else wish to?
Absolutely. I know I'm restricted to 5 minutes, so I pretty much just wrote this out. If anybody's got any questions or comments, I'd more than appreciate you address them. If not, I'll be handling stuff at the LEC board meeting, and I'll continue to come here to these Ramsey County meetings. Is that fine?
That's fine.
All right. Good evening. My name is Paul Deegan. I'm the husband of Mrs. Denny Deegan, who was unnecessarily and illegally terminated from the director's position at the Law Enforcement Center. That was in August of 2014. After requesting several times to be put on the Ramsey County board meeting agenda, I was finally awarded a 5-minute time frame. That's why I'm here and continue to be here until hopefully I can actually be heard. My initial time frame was slotted to be within the meeting, and I was told I'd be able to address the board and engage in a Q&A session with you guys, hopefully some back and forth. Just to see if any of the issues or the perceived issues at the law enforcement center, see if they've been fixed or even addressed. Okay. I did receive an email back stating that LEC issues were better handled at an LEC board meeting, which I had planned to attend anyway. But I do find it interesting that LEC business is handled here pretty regularly, right? Handled here at this meeting. So to say that that's a better venue, is this just especially for me, since I'm the husband of Mrs. Deegan, who I do have power of attorney over and speaking for, or is it for any member of Ramsey County? No, I didn't think so. It should be noted that a lot of these perceived problems at the LAC resulted in the board making a decision to dismiss Mrs. Deegan. This was after an agreement that was made at a special 5-county board meeting, or a 5-county meeting right here in this building downstairs, that everybody agreed that there would be an investigator assigned to see how her and Mrs. Hoyle were doing their jobs at the LAC. Does everybody remember that meeting? I spoke. Mayor was there, all 5 counties. You were there, you were there. I'm sorry, sir, I don't remember you. I don't know if you were there or not. This investigation did not happen and never had the opportunity to, okay? The LEC board, with members of each of the 5 counties, convened and voted for her termination on the very last sentence made by you, Mark. Very last sentence of the meeting, almost like it was planned out. Interestingly enough, many of these board members were alternates who had never been on a LEC board meeting before. Never attended a meeting. Now, I understand that with pending litigation through the State Labor Commission, through North Dakota, that Denny has going with the Law Enforcement Center and against the board here, that probably none of you are real too happy to see me here. It's uncomfortable, and I can appreciate that. I will be making more appearances at both county and LAC meetings, just like I stated. It's been just over a year. Mr. Ramsey's been in that position, and again, has anything been fixed or even addressed or even looked at? And if not, why not? And that's pretty much going to be my ploy the entire time I come to these meetings. If not, why not? I'd assume that you were all advised by the state's attorney, Mr. Lonnie Olson, not to answer any direct questions regarding this, and I'm fine with that. I understand. I can play the game too. What I do find interesting is this doesn't allow any follow-up whatsoever on these issues. Were there issues? Or was it just a way to get rid of somebody because of personal things you had against her? So here I am with my 5 minutes, which I intend to use very smartly in the future. I will address you with questions that I know I won't get answers to, but questions are going to be heard. They're going to be heard by the city, by the county, hopefully by the state. More importantly, they're going to be heard by the public, and they're going to be heard by the media. I'll ask questions, things like, is Ms. Myrna Heisler still requesting Ramsey County Sheriff Steve Nelson to do illegal background checks? And if so, is he going to be held accountable for those? If not, why not? I'll ask questions like, are the rest of the 5 counties, or 4 counties, aware that Mr. Ed Brown wants to house for Ramsey County only? And that was put out on a meeting not too long ago on YouTube. How well is that going to do for the LAC financially? How well is that going to do with relations with the other 5 counties, for that matter? I don't expect any answers to these questions. I don't. I knew this up front coming into this meeting and every meeting I come to from now on. But I also know that questions heard publicly, coupled with a lack of answers from the board who should know these answers and should address them, not only for me, but for other members of Ramsey County. Okay? The whole premise that Mrs. Deegan was fired for was that she was incompetent and that she was losing the LAC money. And I'm going to start addressing those with facts in the next meeting that's called coming up. This is a Ramsey County venue, is it not? For Ramsey County business, Ramsey County taxpayers' input so they can discuss and fix the problems if there are problems. In essence, I'm speaking directly to you, every one of you on the board, but I'm also speaking to everybody out there in the public, anybody who shows up, which I appreciate. I'll be making more appearances. The public will want to know, have these been addressed? Have they been looked at? And if not, why not? There, you got off late. That was about 3 minutes, 45 seconds. Thank you. Sir?
My name is Jason Pierce. I worked for Captain Denny Deegan at the Law Enforcement Center as a correctional officer in 2004. First off, I'd like to say that Captain Deegan was an amazing manager and genuinely cared for the inmates and staff's well-being alike. It's hard to find a boss that has that type of trait, someone who can be firm but fair in every decision that is made. And believe me, inside the walls of that jail, your nerves can be pushed to the limit, and to still be able to handle yourself in a professional manner is a trait that not many people possess. Captain Deegan was one that did. I'd like to address her firing from the local populace point of view. It was a witch hunt from the get-go, plain and simple. You blamed Captain Deegan for every problem at the LEC. The question I have for you is, were any of you ever employees in that stinkhole? Did any of you know what it took to do that job as you sat there on your high horses passing judgment on someone that had done it faithfully for 20 years? Did you think about Captain Deegan as a member of this community as you slandered her good name in the community that she faithfully served for all those years? I guarantee that none of you would have lasted a week in that job. Your thin skin wouldn't have enabled you to handle it. Did you forget that Captain Deegan was congratulated by Congressman Earl Pomeroy in 2009, as well as LEC Administrator Dick Johnson, for their work with the federal juvenile offenders who came from all over the country to serve their time here in the Lake Region Law Enforcement Center? Yes, our very own mayor. Where was his name in this witch hunt? Every article in the paper mentioned Captain Deegan, but not our fair mayor. Blame should have been pointed in his direction as well, because he made most of the decisions in the LEC during his time as the administrator. But we little people understand the politics. Don't besmirch the upper class's names. Find someone else to blame and be relentless in that act. Well, since the release of Captain Deegan, let's take a look at what's happened in our community. Well, we had a correctional officer on duty while under the influence of drugs, a correctional officer that helped a federal inmate escape, several walk-offs while on work release that happened very regularly, a former jailer pled guilty of sexual assault on a female inmate, but I suppose those were Captain Deegan's fault also, right? You all done nothing to make our community safer or the welfare of the inmates any better. All you did was chase a person that served this community faithfully for 20 years out of this state. You uprooted a complete family and caused undue stress and heartache to that family. You owe the entire Deegan family a public apology. But I don't ever see that happening, so I hope and pray that the legal system will work out and that you will all have your names smeared in every paper in the state the same way Captain Deegan's name was. And I hope rumors are spread throughout this town and state the same way it was done to Captain Deegan. And you feel the helpless feeling she did and the fear of leaving your homes because of the looks that seem to burn holes through you wherever you go. Thank you.
Speak this evening? Does anybody else wish to speak this evening?
I just have a couple of things to say. I am really disturbed that there is a section of a county meeting that is, poof, can't find it. That you can't find it on the video and you can't find it in writing. I expect that in the city. Didn't expect it of you guys. But this is extremely disturbing to every resident. When you say you're going to record meetings, there's a lot of little things and big things that go on in meetings that it's important for the public to know and to hear. And I don't want to hear what an excuse is. If you say you're going to do it, do it. Otherwise, don't. It's a waste of everybody's time. And frankly, the county's just made what it has left.
Okay. Kevin's up. Alrighty.
That'll be easy. City of Edmore called me about buying one of our plow trucks, and I guess my question, was whether we can sell property to government agencies or would everybody have to bid on it. I do remember selling a mower to the airport once, but that's the only case I could think of. Maybe.
In the past, we had a situation where I think Towner County Social Services, we sold some of our furniture to them. And I think there may have been one time where we sold an old patrol car to Towner County Sheriff. For that one, I'm not sure on. But I know we did sell furniture to Towner County for social services. I didn't research that recently, but I'm pretty sure we did it and it was permissible.
Do you advertise it just selling it to another government entity then?
I think what we did is we just asked for what we felt was a fair value for it.
You didn't bid it?
I don't think we didn't bid it.
Do you have a truck that,
Well, that'd be next. I wanted to see if we could even handle this first, but I would have to talk to them, see what they're looking for, a tandem, a single axle, what they're actually looking for, and then go from there.
Is there one we don't use?
We've got one single axle we don't use, and one tandem we don't use, which I don't know what they're looking for, so. But I'll get back to them and see what they're looking for, and then, I don't know, put a price on it, and see if they're willing to pay that, and then I'll bring it back to you guys.
sounds like Lonnie thinks that it can happen,
Yeah.
so. Now you can converse with him.
Right. Okay. Next is I need a motion to advertise for the bids on the asphalt overlay on Ramsey 9.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Yeah. What we'll probably do is have those bids opening before the next meeting. Is that right, or the meeting after?
So we can either open them, if we get it in the paper, like beginning of next week. You have to have it in there for 3 full weeks now, and it has to be minimum of 21 days before the bid opening. So we could open them on, right before, like at 11 a.m. the day of the next commission meeting, or sorry, March 15th meeting, or on the 11th. Friday, usually Fridays, either way works, so whatever you guys want to do for a date.
I think, my opinion was Friday before, if that's, and then that gives us time to go through them and put a package together of how the bids came out. And then you guys will have that package for the meeting. Okay. And then just another, bringing up to speed, on Ramsey County 8, it's in the overlay, that is a federal aid project, so all that advertising, bidding, and all that stuff gets done out in Bismarck. We don't do that in the local paper here, so that's why we don't have to have a motion for that.
And you don't have to go there for that anymore?
Not
Or
anymore,
do you
no.
still
used
want to, or, yeah, we used to have to go there.
No, it's just a waste of time doing it. I mean, it's all electronic and nobody even shows up.
Okay.
Yeah. And then one other thing I had is, we need to buy new cutting edges for the bucket on our payloader, and it's gonna be $1,600 with the bolts and everything. And I'd like the motion to buy those. I'll make the motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Brown,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Lightfoot.
Aye.
Martins.
Aye.
Heisler.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Oh, yeah. Paul's got a couple updates for projects we're working on too.
I guess one of them was, the House Bill 1176 funds were affected by the state's budget. And they were cut by 4.05%, so it's about 86,000. We're hoping the bids come in low enough that there won't be an issue. I think don't have all the funds programmed yet anyway. So it shouldn't affect anything we're doing right now, just want you to be aware of it. And then, that Morris Township Bridge, that was built in 1940, we didn't find any plans on it, but Kevin had a bunch of the old inspection reports. And then we looked at current ones again too, and it looks like you could fix it with replacing the beams in the deck. And then one thing that would help the capacity of it too is it's got about 3 inches of gravel on it, which works out to be about 32 tons of weight, just dead load sitting on it. So I guess if we were gonna do something with it, if the county was gonna go ahead and put new beams underneath it, add a few beams to increase the capacity, the way the DOT rates them during the inspection is they assume that the concrete underneath is gonna hold, the beam would fail before the concrete, so we wouldn't really need to do any coring or anything like that on the existing structure. We just make sure it's in good shape and you'd be able to make the improvements.
What can we get our ton rating up to then?
You can get it up to the 8,000, or, whatever beams will carry. But you might have to do some repairs. It said in the notes that Pier 3 had some spalling under basically at the top, on the beam seat, underneath the beam seat, so you'd have to repair the top of the concrete a little bit.
So we can get away with repairs and new beams and be in good shape then?
And then another way you put a new wood deck on it, and you could put some planks on it, basically in the wheel paths, so you wouldn't have to put any gravel over the surface of it. That would help the capacity of it.
So for now, we'll keep pursuing that, maybe get some prices together and keep you up to speed on that. Is there another one?
One last thing, I guess, we've got a term general engineering services agreement with the county, and that's coming up in April. And I guess we're drafting a new one, and I guess we bring that to the next meeting, hopefully, or the second one in March at the latest. And those are non-exclusive. There's no, it doesn't stop you from putting out RFPs for other projects, and any of your projects that you do now that need an RFP, you do that anyway. So those are added separately.
It's basically agreement that for 2 years or however long a period, that if we need a small engineering project, then we use them.
And like I said, it's not exclusive, so you can still do RFPs
Hire somebody else, whatever, yeah.
for anything you want to. It just spells out the term for anything that we do under that agreement. So you don't have to review the whole thing again, just the new work. And we can do and even on projects that you do task orders for, we can do, or do RFPs for, you can do a task order to that agreement and it still, meets the requirement. It just keeps the agreement simple.
Okay,
Is it?
Yep.
That's it.
anything for Kevin or Paul? Thank you. Steve Nelson. Vehicle equipment and search and rescue building.
Vehicle equipment, first off, I'm gonna try to purchase some new equipment for our new squad car coming in. It's within my budget, so light bar cage, that way we can start replacing some of our older stuff that we had for several years. So the new squad car will get new equipment. That also allows us to reuse some of our older stuff for, to assist us too, so. I guess I'd like a motion to be able to buy that equipment when the time comes.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion in a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, on the search and rescue building, I talked to Mr. Gleason. We're gonna have a meeting with Kevin and Mark and I sometime hopefully later this week to work out a contract, to start, get on there, get everything proposed and going. We're also gonna try to order the building itself, so he said it takes about 10 weeks. But he said there was a fee that we would probably have to put up as a down payment on the building. And his estimate was approximately $40,000 or thereabouts to, once he ordered it, he has to put a deposit down on the building basically. So I guess I don't know if I need a motion to approve that. If we have a meeting, we'd like to get it ordered as soon as we can. Let's say 10 weeks puts us out into, what, the 1st of May? We got March and April is 8, so we got 2 weeks of February, so the building would probably be here around the 1st of May, which would hopefully facilitate us getting it up and going June, July, would be a best case scenario.
When does Gleason want it here?
I don't know when he wants it here, but that's when I want it here.
He's put it up.
But he's putting it up, but that's when we have to be able to work with his schedule to get it here,
Right.
before, so the sooner we can get it.
He's just looking for the flexibility to get it ordered whenever he needs to get it.
Well, the sooner we get it ordered, the sooner it's here, and then he has the flexibility when he gets time to get it put up, I guess is what my understanding of the conversation was.
We haven't approved all of
Yeah,
No, you
I
haven't.
think we still, that was supposed to be on the agenda.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. We have to finish this stuff.
Right, what's the date on them?
I think
First
it's,
payment anticipated April 1st.
yeah,
When's it gonna be?
good anticipated.
Loan commencement date April 1st.
April 1st?
Yep.
We'd have to move that day up then, Steve.
What's that?
They
Oh,
want.
Well, and I'm not sure how soon he needs this down deposit, I guess we'll find out. I don't know if it's gonna be tomorrow or hopefully Thursday that we're gonna meet with him again, and kind of go through the contract and make sure that everything that we feel is appropriate is there. You know, finish dates and.
Well, you bring the information to us by the first, next meeting would be the 1st of March, right?
Yep,
And then maybe share with them that we,
yeah,
in our bid process or whatever, our bank loan process, that we said that April 1st
okay,
for a commencement date on the loan. They might work with you.
yeah. I just so you know, kind of know what's going on too, you know, we just that we're expecting, I guess either way, if we down pay, we still own the building, you know, even if it, so.
Well, and that's an anticipated date on the loan too, it doesn't necessarily mean it can't be moved up.
Right.
If we had to move it up,
Right.
I'm sure we could work with whoever we approve on the loan.
Yeah.
Or a small
additional weeks
portion or
3
something.
additional weeks to push it up so we
Yeah.
can get a down payment down, I'm sure that they wouldn't have a
So
problem.
once we meet with him and get some things finalized, I think we'll get a few more answers here later this week, so
Is
I'm
there,
hoping.
sorry,
Go ahead, go ahead.
is there money in that line item? Say we take money out of the line item and then pay the loan
And then pay it back.
And then pay the line item back or something,
Yeah.
if we need to.
We'll know at the next meeting, she probably be back, but
I think we'll be okay in that respect.
it's just 10%.
Okay.
After you get the contract hammered out with them, you wanna look at it? Lonnie?
Well, we'll bring it to Lonnie before we sign anything and make
so
sure he
yeah.
has a chance, but I wanted Kevin and Mark there just to make sure we had
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, cause it's gonna be sitting on that land over there.
Exactly, so,
Portfolio, so that makes sense.
and they have more experience, or Mark, I know Kevin has more experience doing the building stuff, I'm sure Mark, you know, than I do, so I'd rather have somebody there that kinda knows what's to expect it, you know, so. Any other questions on that? What else, is anything else in the search and rescue building? Any other questions about that from,
You talked to me about attendant care, maybe we should just throw that
Oh,
bit of information out there.
okay, so search and rescue's done for now. So, attendant care, I talked to her this morning, and we should be up and running by March 1st, ready to go. Possibly the 26th of February, but for sure March 1st, so we're on our way. So we're still looking for some people, but I think we're ready to go, so, good news. And we just got an email today about some funding for some other stuff, but I could talk to that, that's another day. To visit that. That's kind of tied into attendant care and the foster care program that we could use to help maybe with some other services for our attendant care people, but
Okay,
anything else?
any more questions for Steve?
That's all I had.
Thank you, Steve. Go to unfinished business. Interest rates for funds like Region Search and Rescue Building. You all got a letter in your packet. Well, I think everything was pretty much self-explanatory. So we would we need a motion to approve this.
I'll make a motion to accept the loan from Horizon Financial.
There's a motion in a second. Roll call, please.
Mertens,
Aye.
Brown.
Aye.
Lightfon.
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Heisler.
Oh,
Motion carried. That is, thank you. New business, approved township assessing contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with township.
There's a motion in a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Approved North Dakota Association of County Billing 2016 drug and alcohol annual fee.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion in a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
How much was that, just out of curiosity?
1729.35. 1700.
Yes.
You're used to dealing with bigger numbers than that.
1,795.25.
25 Nation County.
Okay.
Right, it was our chief of bill for the association.
Are there any announcements this evening? I actually have one, and we have a new museum director who should start in April. She's currently looking to buy a house, and we expect her on the job March or April. And she accepted, and she's on her way. She has a husband, and will be moving here.
Where is she coming?
Missouri.
Wow.
Coming in the spring anyway.
Say she's back, she wants a house, all right.
When's she starting?
Late March, early April. We hope to have her here before the gala in April. Any other questions?
I just have one thing, we have about 87% collected.
87% collected.
Yeah.
And that's about average for this time of year?
Yeah, I have a little bit, I would imagine our mail will probably be heavy tomorrow too, but I think that's pretty good.
Good.
Considering January, we're kind of down,
Yeah, we were behind for a little while
Yeah.
there, so.
so it's coming
Pretty good.
pretty well.
Good.
Yeah.
Any other business? Motion to adjourn? Meeting adjourned.